Hey everybody, Randy Patterson here with Boomerocity. And boy, do I have another fun interview for you. This time it's my second chat with Ricky Byrd. You'll know Ricky from Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. He, along with her in that band, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. And this is my second time, as I said, in talking with Ricky. And we're talking about a new single that he just released called Rhapsody in Blues, and it will be part of a album that will come out later on this fall. But I wanted to talk to him now about this song, what he's been up to since we last talked to him. I guess it's been a couple of years now, and some of the support work he's doing for people in recovery and all that. A lot of good information, a lot of fun talking with him. As always, he's just a great guy to listen to, a wealth of stories and information. So I know that regardless of what your taste in rock and roll is, and Ricky is every bit rock and roll through and through, you're going to love everything he has to say. And if you would, please, after you've listened to it, would you share it with your friends? Would you hit the like button? And wherever you're listening to this on, please hit subscribe just so that it helps us. It won't cost you a dime, but it helps us out a lot. So without any further ado, here is my second chat with Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Ricky Byrd. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson. Take care. Hello, my friend. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm going okay. I was just trying to get my lighting good, down here in the basement.
Well, you're coming in bright and clear, man.
My messy basement. Look at that. You got
Yeah,
guitars, you got the Stones, you got Muddy Waters up there. What, Muddy?
Yeah.
Got Elvis.
I gotta have Elvis. Gotta have Elvis.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to, like really clean up and get rid of a guitar or two, here I am. I don't play, but I compose really well.
I'll make note.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
And I actually got there's my baseball cards from when I was a kid.
Really? Any valuable ones?
Not the ones that are down here. These are like, the ones you get on the street. Like in New York City, like on 14th Street, there's guys that sit on a, in front of a table with just baseball cards, and if you find something you like, it's like 3 cents.
Yeah. So, well, hey man, thanks for taking the time to chat with me about this new stuff you've got coming out. And before we dig into that, I want to commend you again for all the great work you're doing and helping people in recovery, man. I just, I'm not an addict or alcoholic or anything. I've never been one, never even started down that path, but I know a lot of people who have, and believe me, it touches me deeply in seeing you and people like you going all those extra efforts to help others, and so I want to commend you again for all your great work in that.
It's almost like, it becomes your responsibility in a way once you get into recovery to kind of reach out to other people. I mean, and once you know the deal, like what it's like to live without that stuff, the poison. And it's not poisoning everybody, obviously. It's poisoning people that can't do just one, right?
Right.
I mean, there are people that have a drink with dinner and it's fine. But it kind of becomes a responsibility. So, and I love to see people get it.
Do you have any, because I know you go and you play you and your acoustic and, talk to those that, who are in sobriety and such. Since the last time we talked, do you have any cool stories that you might want to share with fans, involving that area of your life, that your outreach, so to speak?
Well, I mean, the cool stories are the ones where, for example, I started doing recovery music groups, gotta be 10 years already. I mean, COVID really shut that down for me, except for what I do down here. I still can't get into most of these places because there's breakouts still of COVID and RSV in these places. Because it's like everybody's living so close together. It's like a petri dish, right?
Yeah.
But I am starting to do some. And I think one of the cool things is I still get messages on social media from people that were in treatment 5, 6, 7 years ago that saw me do my recovery music group, where I would sit in front of 60, 70, men or women, or men and women if it was a mixed group, and I would do songs from Clean Getaway and Sobering Times, my 2 recovery records.
Mm-hmm.
And so I still get messages every now and then from people going, "Oh man, I saw you at Turning Point in Paterson, New Jersey, 6 years ago, and I just want to tell you how much the music has helped. And when I feel like I want to use or something, I put on one of your records, and it really helps simmer down the beast." I mean, I don't know if anything can get any cooler than that,
Yeah.
And
saving a
then
life, man. You're changing and saving a life. And I
trying to, and it's really an uphill battle. I mean, it's just awful what's going on. So my motto is to try to save one person at a time,
well,
and saving with information and saving with music. I mean, I can't get anybody clean. I could just say, here's the deal. Here's what it can be. Here, if you want to know how I did it, you could contact me privately, but there's a way out. And also the cool thing is like this, when is this going to be on?
Whenever Carol gives me the okay. So
Okay,
we haven't worked that out yet.
let's just be transparent. It's January 23rd.
Right.
So on the 25th, I'm doing a really great event at the City Winery.
Oh.
I get to do these cool recovery events,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a really great lineup. And it's Rich Pagano, the drummer. He's played on my record. He's played on tons of people's records. He's a producer, and his son unfortunately passed away from fentanyl a few years ago.
Mm.
So he does this. This is the second event. I was at the last one too, in partnership with the Karen Foundation, which is a long-time treatment facility. And it's at the City Winery. It's on the 25th of January, which is in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the list. I don't have a list in front of me who's gonna be there, but like David Johansen, Yorma from Jefferson Airplane, which I'm gonna get to do. I open the show, so I come out and I do a song from. I'm gonna do a song from Clean Getaway, and then the house band comes up with Yorma, and we do White Rabbit. So how cool is that?
Oh wow!
A song I listened. I grew up on that, right?
Yeah, me too.
And so David Johansen, who else is on it? Willie Niles there.
I remember. I've interviewed Willie a couple of times. He's a great guy.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really great artists on the show. So if anybody's if this comes out before I do the show, if you're not doing anything Thursday night at the City Winery, if it comes out after the show, it was a fabulous night.
Well,
they raised a lot of money, and the talent and the music and the message was top notch.
There you go. Well, before I forget, you relayed a message last week through your lovely wife, Carol, and I relayed it, and the message was relayed back, and that's to Walter Trout. You told him, she told me to tell him that you said hi, and then when I told him, he said it back. So Walter's a great guy, man. And I asked him, and I'll ask you, when are you guys going to do an album together?
It's funny. I just met the guy, like somebody. I'm an ambassador for a really great recovery platform called All Sober. So it's allsober.com. And it's all informational, from like struggling to being in recovery to relaunch of your life in recovery to content. I mean, it's, there'll be meetings on there at some point. It's just really a great platform started by these 2 lovely people from these 2 British friends of mine now, Paul and Flora, who started because they were dealing with something with somebody in their family that was, struggling, and they had trouble finding out like what do we do, which is the most, when I talk to parents, that's the question, like, what do we do? Where do we go? Where do we look? Where do we send them? So they started this. They got out of their business in advertising, and they started this website. So it's really growing, and it's huge now. And I'm sort of like in charge of getting people for the inspiration page. So I pulled in a lot of people, friends of mine, Jerry Cooney, Ty Babylonia, the skater, Chasm, Liberty DeVito, and anybody that is either in recovery or and public about it, or supports the recovery lifestyle.
Right.
And somebody turned me on to Walter, and we started talking. We started sending songs back and forth to each other. And it's like, oh man, that's great. Oh wow, that's killer rock and roll there. Yeah. So we said, dude, we should do something together. So I'm sure when he gets back from, he just left, I think he just left yesterday for Australia.
Yeah.
For the start of his tour, because he has a new album out called, I think, Broken.
Broken. Yep.
Yeah.
Duet with Beth Hart. Whoa.
Yes, exactly. So he's a great guy. I have a new friend. He's got the same amount of time. I'm sure he talked about it on your show. He has the same amount of recovery time as I have, which is 36 years. He got in 3 months before me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he is in the top 3 people of the people I've interviewed the most. I think it's second to Steve Lukather's number 1 and Beth Hart's number 2, and maybe he's tied with Beth Hart. So anyway, love the guy.
Wait a minute. I'm not even in there. I'm not
You're
even
number
in the
2,
ring.
man. We're gonna have to do something about that. I mean, it's like we have this common connection with your wife. Surely I can get you on here. I'll tell you what, when the album comes out that we're about to talk about, let's talk again. And then, my door's always open to you. You know that. So all you got to do is say, hey, I need to talk, and we'll set one of these up. So.
And it's funny how this is all coming about this music that I'm doing now. When I finished the last record, Sobering Times, which it came out in 2021. So I did 2 recovery pointed records. So it's this, you've heard straight up rock and roll. There's some beautiful ballads and stuff, but straight up rock and roll, but the lyrics speak to addiction and recovery. Those were the songs that I was doing in my recovery music groups. So most of them, some of them I couldn't, they were too loud and rock and, electric for me to do, but most of them. And so when I finished the Sobering Times record, I said, you know what? Well, first of all, I said, I don't understand why I'm doing these full length records. You spend all this time and money doing 12, 14 songs, whatever. And you only get played 1 or 2, right, on the radio. Now, of course, for the recovery records, it was different because I gave out almost 2,500 CDs. As when I went to these treatment facilities, I would bring a bag full of them and give them to the clinical director to give to the clients there when they finished their treatment. So that's a different story because, they could get something from each and every song.
Right.
Mainstream, I was like, why am I doing full records? Like, I want to be like Tommy James. Let me do singles, and that's another pal of mine.
Yep.
Okay, so I started writing singles. So I signed a singles deal with Wicked Cool Records, which is Little Steven's record label. And thank God he loves my music, so he plays the hell out of me. And last year, 2023, I had 3 singles out. And these are straight up rock and roll songs, different subject matter. I always try to write about, I can't write about stuff that I wrote when I was 20. Let's just put it that way. But I mean, I can, but it sounds like a moron. But I'm trying to write about interesting stuff. Okay, so Glamdemic Blues, the first single that came out in 2023 on Wicked Cool. It was the coolest song in the world. If you listen to Underground Garage, you know what that is. And that was about the pandemic and being in lockdown. That's what Glamdemic Blues was about. Second one was a song called Alien. Alien, I had a dream. I had watched what's it called? The movie from the 50s about the aliens coming down.
War of the Worlds?
No. And telling us that we better get our stuff together.
Oh,
yeah. Help me.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm drawing a blank. And I know the guy that was he was an alien, but he was in human form, and he came down and talked to everybody. So anyway, I was watching that movie, and I had a dream that night. I swear this is the truth. I had a dream that night that I was sort of in a sit down. Okay, this all happened at the same time that me and my kid were binging The Sopranos. She never watched it, so we were watching it from the beginning. Okay, so that all ties in. So I'm having a sit down with like
what a brain mix there.
Yeah, I'm having a sit down with a few aliens, and just like out of a movie, a sit down. There's like one light above the table, and little Steven. And I couldn't remember if he was Silvio or if it was little Steven, but he was there as a mediator. And I was, the day the earth stood still. That's what it was.
That's it. That's yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was having a meeting. I was going to sit down with these aliens, talking about trying to buy us some more time, trying to buy us humans some more time, because they would say, "Look, you know, you had every opportunity.
You had your chance.
You had your chance, and you know, ray guns, lasers, it's done. There's going to be a whacking, you know, complete Earth, scorched Earth, as they say.
And little Stevens.
He's
Yeah,
the mediator. He's in between.
mediator.
He's like, you know, Ricky means, well, he really wants to help the Earthlings, and you know, that thing. There's a horrible little Steven impression, but
That was pretty close. Better than I could do.
yeah. So that's what the dream was about. I woke up and I wrote Alien, and musically, I'm just doing stuff I want to do. So Glamdemic Blues is complete 1974 glam, which is part of my DNA. You know,
Mhm.
all the stuff I grew up listening to. And Alien is got like sort of almost a doo-wop chord changes. But I was surprised that the lyrics didn't get more attention, because I thought they were pretty damn clever about, you know, what we're going through in this world, how we're really screwing things up. And you know, people should take a second listen to the lyrics. I thought they were pretty good. And it's as far as I want to go politically speaking. I certainly have opinions, but that's as, you know, I try to do it with sort of good lyrics. You know, I don't want to argue with people, so you know, the range is broad about what I'm talking about on there. But so that's Alien. The third one was just a riff. I was sitting here in my bed. That's my '69 Hummingbird, by the way.
Love it.
Sitting right there.
Yeah, that's one. If you want to give away, I'll.
That's pure Keith Richards, Exile on Main Street-ish.
Yeah.
Era, you know, that guitar.
Yeah.
But and notice I said era, like I'm from the Bronx, which I am. Yeah, we lose letters for some reason.
Well, hey, I'm in the South. I'm in the Smoky Mountains right now. We do the same thing.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
especially G's. You know.
So I wrote Luann. Luann is a straight up rock and roll song. That is recovery lyrics about somebody. Luann, if anybody could, you can. Why don't you get on? You know, get up and get yourself right, Luann. So that's what that's about. Now, that's the only one that sort of touches on that. Great riff. You know, like I was going for like a Little Richard vibe, right? So I told Dennis Mortensen, the producer at Underground Garage and runs Wicked Cool Records, one of the guys that run it, with Steve and Lewis. I said, I got this great song called, is it Marianne or no, it had another title, but anyway, Dennis said, oh, you covered the Little Richard song? I'm like, what? So he said, yeah, that's a Little Richard song. I'm like, oh, crap. So I had to I already had the song recorded. I didn't do the vocals yet. I had to find a name that ended with Ann, kind of, you know? I went through everything. I thought Luann was a pretty cool, old school rock and roll Elvis-y name to sing. You know, Luann, you know. And that was Luann. Okay, so that's 2023. Now we got 3 songs. But there's more, see? So, because I'm just continuously recording. Now I've got, you know, before the Rhapsody in Blues, I had like 8 songs I sent them. And those 3 were played. And it's not because the other songs didn't make the grade. It's just that it's Steven is just beyond multitasking in his world. So to get him to listen to something and go, yeah, that's a great single, digital single, the coolest song in the world. It takes a little time, you know. My hair wasn't white when I started, you know, when I started waiting for him to get back to me on songs. But so now what do we got, bro? Like I got like 9-10 songs. Now I got like an album. I got a full length. So I'm aiming for 14 songs because of B-sides, bonus tracks, and this and that. I have like 14 tracks recorded, not finished. I have this Saturday, I will be finishing track number 10, mixed and mastered. Then I got 4 more. Once I had the whole batch to Wicked Cool, come up with a cover. I've been told it could come out like in the fall. Okay, that's fine. We'll release. Hopefully, they'll release another 2 singles or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I love writing. I mean, to me, there's nothing. I'm not the kind of guy that I don't sit around and play my guitar constantly, like I'm sure Jeff Beck did. And I've read that he said no matter what he was doing, he always had a guitar in his hand. I like to pick up my acoustic, and snap. But I love writing. Like if I get an idea and sit down with a blank page, that's to me the greatest challenge. It's like, how do I get from here to there? Like, what can I say that's been said a million times by millions of sound writers, but say it differently?
Yeah.
And once it's done, if I love it and I love the music, we go into the studio. Me and Bob Stander, my co-producer on the last 4 records. And we record it, and there's nothing like seeing this blank page come to life,
Yeah.
And if I think it's like really hot, and I think I'm a pretty good judge. I mean, it's really difficult because as a songwriter, most of the time you think everything's great that you do, but at this point, I've got a good meter where it's like, nah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Or it's a B-side, or that's not. Or I go, whoa, that's good. That's top-notch stuff right there. Then I send those to Wicked Cool,
Mm-hmm.
So now, a year ago, one of my favorite guitar players, big influence growing up, Jeff Beck, passes away out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Wasn't even, it was like, oh, this guy's partying too much, He just got viral meningitis, I think it was, or something. And I was like crushed. And now there's a couple of people like Jeff Beck. So guitar-wise, Jeff Beck is the only guitar player that when I'd see him live, I would start to cry. And I'm not the only one. I went to see him at the Iridium, and every guitar player in New York was there. And Meatloaf, rest his soul, was sitting next to me, and Steve Miller was sitting next to him. And
Wow.
Jeff Beck did, and the Iridium's small, so we were like, I was like 10 feet away from Jeff's guitar, him playing, where I almost could figure out what he was doing. Almost. But when he went into like A Day in the Life or something, one of those beautiful songs, neat, dude, I'm like bawling like an idiot. He says, I've been crying since he walked on the stage, But there's something about his guitar playing that there's a lot of people my demographic that play we have bits of Hendrix, bits of Eric Clapton, bits of Jimmy Page, bits of Paul Kossoff, Peter Green, I could keep go on and on. I don't know, Robin Trower maybe a little bit, or and then there's the blues elements, which I learned from the people I just mentioned. So there's a little Albert King, there's a little Alvin Collins, a little BB, this and that. Hardly anybody has any Jeff Beck, because Jeff Beck just played from another planet.
Yeah.
Like his mind, the way he thought was just like, wow. That's pretty.
Did you know Jeff?
I didn't know him. I mean, I met him a couple of times because Carol actually did his publicity for a couple of things.
Right.
So we went back and I met him twice at the Iridium that night. And it's funny because, I dressed the way I've been dressing since I'm 13. But I was wearing a shirt, white shirt with a vest, which is Jeff Beck's, and I walked over to his table and said, well, that outfit looks familiar, like funny, sarcastic. I said, hey, my father was a bartender. I don't know what to tell you. This is how I dress, But I met him at Jones Beach. He was so sweet and humble. And I said, dude, you're truly one of my main influences when I was a kid. And he turned red, like he blushed, but just such a sweet guy. And I just when this happened, when he passed away, I just couldn't let it go. Like I just said, I just started playing. I started playing that riff, and I said, I got to do something. So I wrote Rhapsody in Blues, which I thought was a pretty crafty title, because another one of the song melodies, and I've had this conversation with Van Zandt, like why is it certain melodies make the hair go up on your arm. Like what's
Mhm.
what's scientific about that? The melody to Rhapsody in Blue, like I'm an old soul. Like every book I read is about like George S. Kaufman, the Marx Brothers, Lucky Luciano. Like I like reading about stuff from the 20s and the 30s, and
Right.
and Gershwin. I've read a biography on Gershwin. Like, why does yeah, the hair just went up on my arms? Like, there's something about that collection of notes,
Mhm.
and and that. So I thought that was a great two-part reason I named it Rhapsody in Blues, right? Then I had in parentheses Knight, Nite, Governor, because that was his nickname, right? Governor. And Van Zandt said, shouldn't you like mention him? I'm like, yeah, I kind of think Knight Governor is pretty cool. And he said, well, I'm just giving you my opinion. And then and he goes, why don't you call it One for Jeff, like in parentheses? So I wound up thinking about it and going, yeah, he's probably right. So I'll compromise. I got Rhapsody in Blues, One for Jeff. And
Yeah.
and I just tried to touch on, I wasn't trying to play like him. First of all, I haven't played a Strat in years. I'm mostly a Gibson, Epiphone. Fender, I got a couple of cool tellies. I love tellies. I had a 61 Strat when I was with Joan
Mhm.
that I unloaded many years ago. Which I wish, yeah,
You
I'm not the
wish you
first
had it
guitar.
now, huh?
I'm not the first guitar player to say this. I wish I didn't get rid of that one, but
Bonamassa probably owns it now, so
I'm sure. Yeah. And there's another one of my guitars I see going around, a 59, a 56 or somewhere in there, Les Paul Jr., double cutaway, real Keith
oh,
Richards
no.
guitar. And every once in a while somebody says, oh, I just saw it at a convention and this and that. Way more than I sold it for. But
Mm.
I wanted to, I know what I'm saying. So I haven't played a Strat in a while. And it's like driving a car. Like it's when like I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee,
Mhm.
and my daughter has a Nissan Rogue, smaller, right? My car's like a beast, right?
Right.
Uh, when I drive her car, like if like I don't want to lose parking space, so I take her car. It's like I don't know how to do it. The steering wheel's smaller, and I don't know how to, it takes me
A
like
lot looser. You too.
yeah, it
Yeah.
takes me 15 minutes. It's the same thing with picking up the Strat.
Really?
I
Wow.
had to learn. Yeah, it was like it felt different. Didn't feel like chunky like my Les Pauls and this and that. And then the bar, right? The whammy bar.
Mhm.
So I used it on this. That's the Strat on the cover. Which, by the way, my daughter Frankie Byrd took the photo. She took all 3 photos from my covers. That's not my Strat. That is my co-producer Bob Standard Strat that I use on the record. And then I loved it so much, I called Fender and I got myself a 57 reissue
Ooh.
that I have now that I love. So who knows? But I wasn't trying to play like Jeff. I was just trying to, because I couldn't, of course, I was just trying to do things that were iconic that he did. That for me as a 14-year-old, I was trying to learn off the Truth record, or that stuff. And the middle bit is a little bit like Beck's Bolero, which I've played at events.
Mhm.
That thing. So I just hope, and the thing at the end, talk about giving the chills. The song is, I think it's 3:04. It was almost 4 minutes because I was just guitar playing like a maniac at the end. Like it was really
Right in the
long and
zone.
self-indulgent.
Yeah.
And when I listened to it, I said, you know what? Because part of my method for these new singles are to keep them as close to 3 minutes as possible. As Tommy James, I wanted
Mhm.
singles. So what can we do? Okay, let's cut all of that off, right? And I need a piece, and I swear I sat down, and that little bit at the end, that beautiful bit, came right there, like right at the top of my head. Those chords came, and that melody just came to me, like it was. I don't want to get too, you know, but
A
like it
boo
was
boo.
sent. It was sent to me,
The muse hit
like Jeff is like, dude, try this, you know. And every time that part, so to me, that part sounds like the farewell part of the song.
Yeah.
Farewell,
Sure.
master guitar player, you know. And every time it comes on the radio, I go, wow, that's like, yeah, hair up on the arms. And I hope everybody gets that feeling and takes the song with the intent that I did it, which was to a nod, a hat nod to one of the greatest rock and roll guitar players that there ever was.
I think that's so cool. Yeah, and I'm going to appear a little ADD here, but I want to go back to something you were talking about on the radio and about airplay, and obviously, your connection with Little Steven, and obviously that means Sirius XM, right? So,
Yes.
do you find that it's most of your traction you get with your music, is it really more through Sirius XM now, the 2 or 3 channels that might be carrying it, or are you still getting coverage from regular terrestrial stations?
I think it's really rare that I get coverage from that. There is a little bit. Look, you gotta pay to play. Like you could hire somebody as a record company or as the artist to go up to radio stations, or they don't go up anymore, I guess, and get some play, right? But is it worth it? And I don't know if it is. I mean, I don't really have a band. I would love to do, once the record's done, maybe a couple of special events, maybe a couple of like underground garage events or something,
Yeah, yeah,
as a wicked cool artist. I can't see myself, and once again, I'll preface this with never say never,
right.
putting a band together, and and this and that. Like, I think I'm going to go in. I've been talking to a director friend of mine, Steve Sage, who did, there was a song called I Come Back Stronger from the last record. And I said, let's do a video of Rhapsody in Blues. Because I don't have to make believe, I don't have to learn lyrics again, relearn them and make believe I'm singing. So we're going to do something, cool. Like, I'm noticing a lot of wicked cool artists have videos for their songs, and they're not like the videos we did with Joan or anything.
MTV, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, you go and you get a green screen and you put really cool stuff behind it. I just always ask, like Dennis at Wicked Cool, does this actually move the needle? Like, is there a
Right.
reason why I'm doing this? Is there a reason why I'm spending money to do a video? Like, does it matter? I don't. I'm trying to learn the trade again. Like, what really what helps?
Yeah.
The horrible thing for artists like myself is that there's only, unless you're in a touring band where you play and then you go sit at a table and you sign records and you sell them, with your merch, which I don't do.
Right.
But I don't have the expense of going on the road. So there's that.
Right.
So it kind of balances out a little bit.
Right.
There's only 2 things. There's either streaming or downloading. So because people have a subscription to Spotify or Apple Music for $10 a month or whatever it is, they get all their music for free. I have to convince people, it's like, dude, this is how we make records. Because there's no money in Spotify, obviously. That
Right.
story's been told a million
Fractions of
times.
a penny, yeah.
So listen, Rhapsody in Blues, I post constantly on social media, and I'm doing some TikTok stuff now. My kid said, dude, you got to do TikTok. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I've seen
shit."
it. I've hearted it.
And dude, I hate doing this more than spending my whole day doing this, but it's the way it works. I love connecting with people, but I already do that on social media. Like, I post pictures from my career. I talk to people, I like connecting with people I played to. I just don't like spending the time doing these TikTok things and, trying to make up stuff that's clever. And it's like, but I have been doing, and I will throw this to the floor right now and ask, if you dig the music that we are doing, not just me, but if you love Rhapsody in Blues and you're hearing it in the underground garage, don't just stream it, baby. Just go on the links that I keep posting and download it for 99 cents. Why? Because you're becoming a
Supporter.
A supporter. That's a good
Yep.
word. I was thinking of another word, but that was a good word. Of the arts, right? That's basically, I mean, it's very hard to make money in the business right now.
It is.
And if you want to help, and yeah, like 99 cents, what is that going to do? Yeah, you get thousands of people downloading your music. That helps us record more music,
That's right.
you know? So, you know, I'm looking you straight in the eye, man. If you dig the music, please go download it. And you could download it at the links I post through the Orchard, who distributes the music, or just go to rickybyrd.com. It's right on the front page. And my other records are in there. My recovery, if you're in recovery, if you know somebody in recovery, or if you're somebody that sort of helps people in the recovery universe, you believe in that, get my recovery records. You know, they're straight up rock and roll, but the lyrics in there, you're definitely going to find something that you're going to go, oh God, that's me.
Yep.
You know, so I don't know what it's, you know, I don't want to make it like a telethon, like this is the, you know,
Well,
let's check
and
the
I'm right
tote.
there.
Hey Ed, let's check the tote board, you know.
We
but
need
it's
15
like,
more callers. Yeah.
yeah, but the point being is, if you want to be a supporter of new music, and if you want us to keep putting out new music, we need you to download the music, not just stream it.
And I really don't think, I really think most people don't get that still, Ricky. I mean, you and I, we do, you know, and it's nearer and dearer to your heart because, you know, this is your livelihood, you know, but, you know, I think so many people, it's so easy to think that this stuff has just become commoditized. Why should I buy and have the mess of a record when I can just stream it? Well, do you want those guys? Do you want to keep hearing new great music from your favorite artists? Well, if you do, hey,
Or do
hey,
you want to, listen to classic rock stations and just listen to Bad Company and Journey for the rest of your life?
exactly,
And
exactly.
believe
Which
me,
is not bad, but
no, I grew up on that music. I
yeah,
love that music. But if you want new music to come out also to go along with that music,
that's right.
there's got to be a way to. We have to finance it somehow, and it's you know, it's difficult. You get little advances here and there if you manage to finagle stuff like that, but the point is, it's very expensive to go into the studio and to do all the stuff. Now, when the record comes out, the full length record, it's going to be guaranteed. Well, it's going to be a digital download, of course. There's going to be vinyl for sure, and there'll be CDs. And then, you know, I'll do this again where I say, listen, you know, if you want to, if here's some cool music. I mean, I started rebuying vinyl, believe it or not.
Same here.
I love going. In fact, today I'm getting delivered cubes from Bed Bath and Beyond because now I just have them all in these freaking stupid containers that they don't even fit. But
Well,
I'm starting
Ricky,
to.
I've got the signed ones I have in those frames, you know, and
Oh
I've
yeah,
got them
yeah.
rimming the ceiling of my office here, like 30 or 40
Oh,
of them.
that's great.
I want to get one signed by you on one of the
Yeah.
Blackhearts albums, so I've got to work that out with you and Carol. But I
Of
want
course.
to add that to my collection because it's just for my enjoyment. I'm not going to sell them; they're here for me to enjoy. I look at and I think about the music and
I
how I
agree.
got the record and all that. Yeah.
And the other thing about and that I was talking to somebody about is what we don't have these days. Oh, Ricky Byrd's got a new record out. He's got a new single out. Let's go down to Tower Records and pick it up.
Yeah.
Which was an event.
Yeah.
Like we go down with your friends, you're rifling through the records. You know, I'm here to get the new Rod Stewart record. I'm here to get the new this one record or that. It just doesn't exist anymore.
Well, and come home,
Maybe
unwrap it.
there must be some record stores out there, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, it's not like you used a perfect word. It's not the event it used to be. I mean, I remember getting a new Elton John record or a new
course.
Aerosmith record and coming home and, you know, gently opening it up and pulling it out, dropping it on the turntable and reading everything on that cover, everything on the sleeve, you know, and devouring all the information. Who engineered? Oh, I recognize that name.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
all that kind of stuff. And it's not as much like that anymore. I mean, guys like you and I will, a new album comes out, we'll start doing some digging, but it's on a keyboard and not on the album itself.
And you know what? The other thing is what you mentioned, like I would stand there and stare at the records and read the back, like, or if the liner notes were on the back in a record store,
Mhm.
you know, and you would just be like, you know, it would be a thing to do on a Saturday afternoon, or, you know, the new this album or the new Zeppelin record coming out or the new, you know, whatever's out now. Still, new music would be so much cooler if record stores still existed, because it was just part of the whole, you know, even before Tower Records, you know, you'd go to Woolworths
Yeah.
here in New
J.C.
York.
Penney.
Yeah,
You know?
JCPenney. And you know, when you were a little kid, maybe you convince your parents to buy you you know, the new Monkeys record just came out,
Yeah,
or whatever it was.
exactly.
Or the new, hey, my first two records, my first two albums that I bought, LPs, long players, was the Jimi Hendrix Experience, the first one, and the Monkeys, both on the same day.
Mine was Elvis on the same day.
Oh, isn't that
Elvis on
funny?
stage. I know Carol's a big Elvis fan.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Elvis on stage and Elvis Let's Be Friends. My first concert was Elvis. My first celebrity interview was at that concert with Colonel Parker. Believe it
Oh,
or not.
that's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, Phoenix, of all places, 1973, Easter Sunday. I remember it well.
Yeah, you're lucky you saw him. There's people because I'm right at that age where I missed, like, I never saw Hendrix. I never got to see Cream. I saw Cream when they came back at the Madison Square Garden, but Clapton was using a little lamp and, you know, a Strat, and it wasn't the same. But
Right.
there's a collection of art. I never saw Free live,
My Paul
you know.
Rogers. Yeah.
And now some of it was because I just didn't go to those shows, but I had the chance to go to Hendrix. Ready for this? I was I must have been in high school, or like a junior in high school or something, because I'm just going to say my mom wouldn't let me go. But there was a girl in school that said, I have tickets for the Jimi Hendrix at the Fillmore New Year's Eve concert, which turned out to be that concert where he did Machine Gun. That's the record. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So hold it. Wait.
With Buddy Miles on drums.
You passed up seeing Hendrix.
No, I didn't pass it up. I wasn't allowed to go.
Oh, you weren't allowed. Okay. Well, that's cool then, because I mean, Hendrix and then with a girl, come on.
I was
man.
only 14.
Yeah, well, so.
But with that said, by 15 and 16, I was already hanging out in rock and roll clubs.
Yeah.
I think that missing Hendrix was the line in the sand for me and my mom. Like, it's like, listen, I'm going to Max's Kansas City tonight, you know, in the city, with phony proof. So unfortunately, then there were some clubs too, there's one called the Action House that's very famous. I never saw the Vagrants with Leslie West and his brother.
Oh, yeah, with Leslie West. Yeah, a friend of mine saw them there when they were the Vagrants.
Right. So I missed that club. But, you know, and I got to see like 3 Fillmore East shows at the very end.
Wow.
But my place was, and funny enough, somebody posted something on Facebook, a picture of the Academy of Music on 14th Street, which, by the way, in the 20s, I believe was an old vaudeville house.
Really?
I'm into knowing that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, me too.
But cool. The Academy of Music is where I saw Humble Pie, Jay Giles, Mountain, you know, 10 Years After. Like, that was the place for me.
So
that was post Fillmore East.
This is so cool because, you know, here you are, an inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that point.
That's so easy to forget. But here you and I are talking about people like 2 fans talking about it. And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, yeah, we're 2 fans. Then I go, wait a minute. Here's Ricky. We're talking like fans, and you're an inductee. And some of the people you're talking about haven't been yet.
But I'm a fan.
This is kind of surreal.
I'm like the fan from hell. You know, like, listen, I toured with Ian Hunter, right? Back in 93. And I'm the kid that listened to, I grew up, Montelupo was in that pile of vinyl.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So I'm in England. We did a tour of Scandinavia and England. And Mick Ronson had just passed away. And so we're at this place. I can't remember the place we played. It was a theater in London. And, you know, it's just amazing that I'm on tour with Ian Hunter. Anyway, I'm playing all these songs I grew up on, right? But there was this moment in London where all of these Ronno fans were in the front. We miss you, Ronno. You know, it's a little bit of pressure on me, the guitar player.
Just a little.
just a little. But when we got to Only on Dudes and I played that riff and the band kicked in, I had to turn around. I got like emotional. It's like, wow,
I
how did I
bet.
get here? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
how about doing a record with Roger Daltrey and half of it at Abbey Road Studios, and you got your phones on and you're playing guitar and he's singing in the next booth and he's singing a melody that you helped write. It's like, and my brain's going, wait, that's Roger Daltrey, right? Like, so yeah, I'm a fan.
No.
I
For
mean,
me,
I've been able to do some really remarkable
yes, you
things
have.
in
Yes,
in my business, my career, and I got to a point where I started getting asked to do events and be in the house band, the all-star band. It's like Will Lee, Liberty DeVito, Jeff Carlisi from 38 Special, Rob Arthur, who plays keyboards with Frampton, or Schaefer,
Mm-hmm.
and we did plenty of them. And so I got to play guitar for Smokey Robinson, Brian Wilson, 3 songs here, 3 songs there, because it was an event. So it was
Sure.
6, 7 artists. Mavis Staples. Oh my God, my list is ridiculously old and long. Sheila E.
Yeah.
Playing behind Sheila E. A couple of rappers, Billy Squire, Eddie Money.
Weren't you on stage with
The
McCartney?
cat from the singer from the Stylistics.
Didn't you? Weren't you on stage with McCartney too?
Well, that was at the Rock Hall. That was at the that was it at the end of the show jam, which I don't even think they have anymore, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was, and let's not forget Ringo was on drums.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard of him. So
yeah, no, that was quite.
I mean, to be
special.
on the stage with both of those at the same time. How many people can say that they've been on stage playing with McCartney and Starr?
Well, everybody that was on that stage, and there were a lot of people.
Well, but
I mean, listen.
Statistically,
McCartney and Ringo, right there, rhythm section. But to my left was Stevie Wonder playing the harp.
Yeah.
And Peter Wolf from J. Giles, one of my favorite bands. And like, there were like Patti Smith was up there, and Billy Joe from Green Day, and Gary Clark Jr. was playing guitar, and it was very cool. And people always ask me, weren't you nervous? And the answer is no, I was not nervous. It was just like a band.
Wearing black pants. Yes.
It was a band. We were like, it was rock. We were playing rock and roll. There was nothing to be nervous. Nervous was me giving my speech and looking down and seeing the Beatles and Joe Walsh and Yoko sitting at the table in front of me.
Yeah.
I just kept telling myself, don't look down, don't look down, don't look down.
Look straight ahead.
Yeah. So I was reading my speech off the teleprompter at the back of the hall. Thank God, because otherwise I'd have to look down and keep seeing them sitting there, So
my Stevie Wonder story, I tell you very quickly, long before I started Boomerocity, is when Stevie Ray Vaughan died. He's from Dallas. I lived in Dallas at the time. Long story about why I shouldn't have been there, but my young daughter, she was young at the time, 4 years old, I think, maybe 5. And we walk up to the gravesite while they're having the funeral. I mean, it was open to fans.
Oh, God.
The guys from ZZ Top were there, all that. My daughter and I are walking up to the crowd, and I've had the picture. It's lost somewhere, but I snapped the picture as it was happening. It was Jackson Browne, Bonnie Raitt, and Stevie Wonder singing Amazing Grace a cappella. And I mean, it's just like, I'll never forget it for as long as I live. I wish we had video camera phones at that time, or I would have shot it, obviously. But that's the only time I've seen the 3 of them ever perform. It's at that funeral.
And the 6 degrees of separation is that Stevie Ray got inducted that night too. And Jimmy Vaughan was there. And with the guys from Double Trouble.
Yep.
And the connection is back in the bad old days. Jimmy Vaughan was at our apartment quite a few times when the T-Birds were in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And Stevie Ray was at our apartment also.
Wow.
And then we all got cleaned and horribly Stevie, died in a plane crash. But, we're lucky to be the ones that are here are lucky to be here.
Yep.
And Stevie was an amazing influence on people in recovery.
Yeah.
When his few years he had while he was sober, he just did so much to help people that were struggling.
And to think what could have been, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you just got to
that's
get up and savor every moment because you don't know what the plan is.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Make squeeze it.
and you don't want to know. You wouldn't want to read the book and know what the how this ends.
That's right. Because then
You
I
want it
tear
to be
that
a
chapter
surprise.
out.
Well, yeah, but you want it to be a surprise, you know.
There you go. Yeah.
So
So
that's it.
so what's next?
Oh, dude, I'm just finishing the record. So, like I said, I got 4 more. So I'm mixing number 10, and then I got like 4 more tracks to finish.
Okay.
Record's done. Then I got to start thinking of a cool name, take photos. Probably going to do a video for Rhapsody in Blues, and do these events. I'm doing another recovery event in March down at in Del Rey, and I get to visit my mom for a week.
Oh, cool.
And so it's for the Karen Foundation. Karen Foundation. It's their, I think it's their yearly gala event down there. So I'm going to do like 3 songs again from the Clean Getaway and Sobering Times record.
Mhm.
So that's fun, and just whatever, you know, people. I just get phone calls. Hey man, we're doing this. Would you want to be part of this?
I got an idea. Here's what you can do. Yeah,
What?
I'm sure you get this all the time. How about just a tour of you, acoustic, and city wineries? That way I can see you in
I would love
Nashville,
that.
see you in Nashville, and see you in Atlanta. Those are the 2 closest ones
That
to
is
me.
a fabulous idea. I would love to do that.
I
Now,
think you
the
ought to do
problem
it.
is a lot of this new stuff, like I can't play. I mean, I can. I've done a couple of gigs and I've done some stuff off of Sobering Times and Clean Getaway. It's so electric, the records, but there's,
Okay, but yeah, but you know as well as I do. If you do City Winery in Chicago, you do it in Nashville, you do it in Atlanta, dude, you're going to have musicians that'll just step up and play with you anyway.
that's the
Right?
greatest idea. I'll tell you what, you book it. I'm in. It's a great idea.
All right, man. Don't tempt me. If I do it, you owe me then. So.
Yeah. Listen, if there's interest when the record comes out, I would love to do something like that.
I think that'd
you
be
know?
phenomenal.
The only thing I can't see doing is putting a full band together and doing a tour, unless some magic comes from out of the world and say, "Hey, man, I think you'd be great on the road. We'll pay for the tour and we'll book the tour." It's so much work.
Yeah, but in Chicago, the musicians there, I mean, it'd be a
No,
pickup
the
band.
winery thing is great. They're all great
Yeah, I
places.
mean, and all locate. I mean, from Nashville, they could drop down to
And
Atlanta.
I know my friend Cassim Sultan. You know,
Yeah, I did
everybody
interview
knows
him.
Cassim. He's done winery things like that. It's a great idea. All right, you put a bug in my ear.
All right, I want comp tickets when it happens, man.
How many
Well,
are there? Are there like in every city? Like how many are there?
I know there's Atlanta, Nashville, New York, of course, Chicago, and I think LA. But I don't know if there's one up in Northern Cal. I don't think there's one in Dallas yet, but I know they have an expansion plan. But those are the ones I'm aware of. There may be others, but those are the ones I'm. But I mean, heck, a plane ticket and a pickup band, especially in those areas where there's some known artists.
You're giving me a band again. We just had this conversation.
Well, I know, but it's only a band for that town.
I want to go back to my no band, no headaches tour.
Okay, well then bring the acoustic, bring that hummingbird behind you, and then I want to come see you.
And
So-
of course, let me just reiterate, I'm doing a lot of stuff. People should check out allsober.com. Whether you're in recovery, struggling, or if you know somebody that needs help, it's really a fabulous platform. And I'm happy to be their ambassador.
Cool. Well,
That's it.
that'll be pointed out. One more point I'll make: Songbirds in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You got to play there. It's halfway
really?
between Atlanta and Nashville. You could do acoustic there. It'll do well. And
And you know what would be great? If I could combine, I go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I call up the treatment facility and say, "Hey, man, how about if I come in and do an hour for your
there you
client?"
go. Well, there's
And
yeah,
do two things that are one cool thing for me and one cool thing for other people.
there you go. All
You know?
right, it's going to happen.
And
I feel it
please
happen.
go on rickybyrd.com, and if you love this Rhapsody in Blues song or anything else that I have on there, please download it. Don't just stream it.
There you go.
I should get a T-shirt. Download it. Don't just stream it.
There, do it and trademark it, man. So,
Yeah.
hey, Ricky,
Well,
this is great. My door is always open to you.
Thanks, brother.
Let's talk in the fall when the album comes out, and we'll be chatting again soon,
Yeah,
my
and
friend.
next time I'll try to clean up my You know, I try using those.
No, I love it the way it is.
I try using those green screen things behind me, but then your head looks all weird. You know, like it's
Yeah,
going
well,
in
my
and
head looks weird even in real life, you know. But I just do it. I do this because I want to promote whoever I'm talking to because that's what it's about. It's not, you know, I just do the virtual. I don't even have a green screen
Well, actually,
behind me.
yours does. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
Yours is
it's your
not doing
album
it.
cover.
Every time I do it, it's like my hair gets all weird inside it.
Well, but yeah, but it's white too, and that helps you. That kind of
That's right.
messes it
You're
up.
right.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I will bleach out as pasty white as I am. But I just do this. I don't even have a green screen behind me.
Yeah. Well,
It's just virtual on Zoom. Yeah.
we're learning
So,
as we go. I
all
like
right, man.
this. I like this complete transparency thing.
Yeah. I love it, man. To keep the guitars behind you. I think that's phenomenal. But listen, I'll let Carol know when this thing posts. It'll be soon, whatever she gives me to go ahead. And
And then I'll go
let's
crazy.
talk in
I'll
the
go
fall.
crazy with it. I'll put it on TikTok.
All right. Good.
I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye.